You are watching a master at work.
What's happening, people? It's Steve Merkel here, or Merc for short. Hope y'all are having a wonderful day so far. Today's video will be a look at the Vex Mythoclast after the recent buff on December 1st. As we know, the Vex has had a long ride in Destiny. At first it was outrageously overpowered, then it was outrageously underpowered, and now I feel like it's just right, if not still a little underpowered for current PvE content. The attack has been raised to 323, up from the original 300 of all other exotic and legendary weapons. This upgrade is huge for things like the Vault of Glass on hard, and will also be huge for the new raid in the Dark Below, Crota's End, as well as all other high level strikes and missions that will be coming out in the DLC. I can't emphasize this enough. This weapon will be the main weapon you want to use in playing DLC PvE content until the other DLC weapons are upgraded to the equivalent 323 attack, because all others will be 300. Now let's talk about the upgrade tree. The only change to the upgrade tree is going to be the extended mag upgrade, which used to bring the magazine size to 51 rounds, which was way more than the normal extended mag perk for other guns in Destiny. It was something like 175% upgrade in magazine size, which for the other guns it was only something like 50%. Now the magazine size is upgraded to 35 with the perk now, which is still more than the usual at about 70% increase. My recommended perk setup is what you see here for PvE. I run the extended mag and smart drift control to add a little stability to the recoil, and I sacrifice little impact. For PvP, sometimes I will switch extended mag out for send it to increase accuracy and range, because the recoil can get a little weird and laggy in PvP for some reason. You'll be aiming and you'll feel like you're hitting them every shot, but for some reason you're not. And 21 in the clip is still plenty enough to kill one Guardian in PvP, maybe two in some cases. I tried to get some damage stats on the daily heroic at 28, running it on my level 30 hunter. I was getting 523 for critical shots on Vex enemies, and with the damage buff perk I was getting something like a 601 for critical shots most of the time. For non-critical I was getting 175 and 201 with the damage buff perk. This comes out to about 2 critical shots for red bar enemies for a kill, which with the Vex fire rate is a very fast time to kill. The fastest for any primary weapon on enemy to enemy basis, except for a hand cannon like the Fatebringer or the Devil You Know. However, with the Vex clip, you can kill 17 enemies at 100% accuracy when you can only kill 13 with these hand cannons. With that being said, the raid would be the only place that I would see the Vex having a faster time to kill than these hand cannons on red bar enemies, because the hand cannons will take 2-shot crits to kill, and so will the Vex. However, for the yellow bar enemies and yellow bar enemies with shields and non-raid activities, or non-hard raid activities I should say, the Vex Mythoclast has a much faster time to kill than these hand cannons. And as well, with everything in the hard raid, the time to kill is going to be faster with the Vex. Now, let's get into some PvP. In PvP, the Vex Mythoclast gets 41 for a headshot, 21 for a body shot, compared to something like the Grim Citizen that gets 27 for a headshot, 22 for body shot. That's a pretty big difference for headshots. If we assume that every Guardian in PvP has 200 health points, you could kill Guardians with 5 headshots, or 4 headshots and 2 body shots. And considering how fast the Vex Mythoclast fires, if you have 100% accuracy with it, this is by far the fastest time to kill of any primary weapon in the game. Probably double the next fastest. The Vex can get 5 to 7 shots off before you can pronounce its full name. Now that brings us to our next point though, the accuracy in having 100% accuracy with this weapon. The accuracy and range on the Vex is subpar at best. The accuracy is very strange in PvP. The red dot could be on them, yet you'll be missing. The only way to get around this is to spend a lot of time using the gun and getting used to its recoil patterns and finding out what exactly to aim for that will ensure you get hits and headshots. In PvP, or PvE I should say, the accuracy isn't a huge deal because the enemies are bigger and have a bigger hitbox. But in PvP this could be a huge problem, so definitely spend some time with the gun, getting its patterns down if you want to use it in PvP often, and rely on it. The range isn't as good as other primary weapons like auto rifles, hand cannons, and scout rifles especially, but this isn't a huge deal considering that in PvP the maps are close quarters and you can get into 90% close quarter gunfights if you maneuver the map right. In PvE, most of the fights can be in the Vex effective range, and if not, there are things like snipers and rocket launchers that will do in a pinch and you can just switch to those. Overall, I think the Vex is a very usable gun now for every activity in Destiny. In PvP, it is probably the best primary to use once you get the recoil down. In PvE, it can get a little tricky. With your primary weapon slot taking up your exotic, you won't be able to use an exotic for your special or heavy weapon slot. That means no Galahorn or Icebreaker. For things like the Nightfall, Heroic, and Tiger Strike playlists, I think we'd be better off using a hand cannon that can one-shot crit enemies. But for something like the hard raid where hand cannons can't one-shot crit enemies, I'll be using the Vex for sure. That about wraps up today's video, guys. Again, the Vex is a hard raid, Athean drop only. It's not something that you can plan to get. You just have to play the hard raid as many times as you can, on as many characters as you can weekly, and pray that you get it. Please leave a like if you enjoyed today's video, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Also, feel free to ask any questions or let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Later, daters.